Hey guys, Buckner here with another team review. Today I'm just going to be reviewing my battles using Autorekt today. So once again, these are auto-generated teams. But in particular, I wanted to showcase Incineroar, which I powered up because of a viewer suggestion yesterday, and I just had such a great time with it. So if you guys want to suggest teams for me, if you want to tip me off that a certain Pokemon's really good or you want to see it, then please join my stream in the description down below. I stream mornings around 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope to see you there. So let's get started with the battles. So we have Gyarados to Machamp. This is a pretty positive matchup. Machamp will beat Gyarados to the second Rock Slide, but they actually catch the Aqua Tail here. So they catch onto Venusaur, which is okay because now I can bring in my Deoxys. And I'm just going straight for the Psycho Boost. I'm not baiting because if I go straight for it, I'm thinking that they'll actually think I'm baiting, and they do. So they let it go through. The only problem is now my attack is so low that I'm going to have to either Psycho Boost again or possibly Shield if I want to preserve this switch. But no, I'm actually opting not to shield. And I get off the Psycho Boost. So let's see if they want to preserve Switch here. Because I'm so low in health, um, it wouldn't be a huge deal if I lost Switch there. And I'm able to come in with Electivire. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to shield this, but Electivire is going to get so much charge with these Thunder Shocks against the Venusaur resisting it. This is why Electivire is so deadly, because with this much charge, it can guarantee a shield from pretty much anything. Sure enough, they come in with the Machamp. I'm just going to Ice Punch here. Luckily, they do shield. I was thinking that they'd shield. That's why I Ice Punched. And now I can go for the Wild Charge. And the Wild Charge is going to take him out. I just switch here because my Electivire is defense debuffed. And they come into an Umbreon. So Umbreon would be difficult for either Electivire or Gyarados to deal with alone. But teamed up, they should be able to take this out no problem. And I still have a shield, so looking good here. You're going to see that I do just barely make it to this Aqua Tail. And at this point, a Wild Charge should be more than enough to take him out. Even an Ice Punch should be enough. But I still have a shield, so I don't need to go for the Ice Punch. I can just go for the Wild Charge. Even if I didn't have a shield, I would have still survived this foul play. So pretty safe to go for the Wild Charge here and take him out. Next, we have Electivire into Walrein. This is a pretty positive matchup. I will have to choose to either bait or go straight for the Wild Charge. I am just going to go straight for the Wild Charge. Hopefully, they didn't tie me to the move. I go into Scrafty here, even though I expect them to have a counter to Scrafty, just because I need to get out of the Electivire. And I'm thinking that Electivire might be able to pull off a win in the back. So they allow me to get a good amount of farm here. I am going to have to decide whether to bait, whether to go for the big move here. I go for the foul play. If they don't shield this, this will kill them. They do end up shielding it, so maybe not a great decision. I could have just gone straight Power Punch and won that matchup. But now I'm going to be able to Thunder Shock this down. So once again, Electivire coming in clutch, able to gain so much energy from Thunder Shocking down almost dead enemies. And I barely Thunder Shock them down before they get to the second Cross Chop. I blind throw this Wild Charge, which was a huge mistake because Venusaur is definitely not going to take as much damage from a Wild Charge as from an Ice Punch. But afterwards, they don't switch, and that's a critical mistake because my Mamoswine beats Venusaur and CMP. So at this point, I just need to get to a Wild Charge on my Electivire. Luckily, they don't farm up too much extra energy. They throw the Icicle Spear, and I should be able to get to a Wild Charge before they get to this second Icicle Spear. Shield up the first one. and let's see if I can make it. They can see the match. So they were probably more than two powder stones away from Ice Spear. And so here I have a kind of interesting team. It's ABA Poison Dark. So I have a Poison Dark type in the lead, I have a Poison Dark type in the back, and I have a Glade in the middle. So I just switched into the Glade to hopefully leer out something that might be weak to Poison Dark that they're hiding in the back. Sure enough, they have a Giratina altered, but this is still kind of a tough situation because both of my Poison Dark types have a heavy damage, low charge Poison Fast move, which isn't going to be doing a whole lot to this Giratina. We're going to have to hope that both of the Pokemon that they have in the back are weak to Poison Dark. So I bring in my Alolan Muck just because Alolan Muck's a little bit tankier. It can take these Dragon Claws a little bit better. The question is, are they going to shield? So if they do shield, it'd be good to go for the Acid Spray, but obviously, if they don't shield, they got to go for the Dark Pulse. Got to go for the Dark Pulse, not going to risk it, and they do shield. So now I'm going to come into Skuntank, and I'm in a tough spot because even though Giratina Ultra takes super effective damage from these crunches, it's going to beat me to the Dragon Claws. And it's so bulky that I'm not going to be able to Poison Jab down. They switch into Snorlax. I am just going to shield up this Body Slam because Body Slam from Snorlax will do about as much as the Dragon Claws from Giratina. And I'm going to take them out here with a Crunch. And then I get an extra Poison Jab. So good that I got that extra little bit of charge. And now it's all going to come down to what do they have in the back. Do they have something weak to Poison Dark in the back? They have a Charizard. So this battle is far from over. But luckily, I've got a lot of extra charge remaining. And I might just barely make it. I make it to the Crunch. So it looks like they decided maybe not to go for the Dragon Claw. And then I catch their move onto my Alolan Muck. And at this point, should be a good game. My Poison Jab goes through before their Fire Spin. Maybe they forgot about my Alolan Muck in the back, but regardless, it's a very good game for my opponent. Next, we have Trevenant into Origin Form Giratina. So kind of a sight to see an Origin Form Giratina. I go straight into my Charizard just because the Charizard's going to beat them to these Dragon Claws. And then they go into Cresselia. So this is a really questionable play just because every one of Cresselia's normal moveset in Ultra League is going to be resisted by the Charizard. Sure enough, it's a Moonblast. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. They're going to have to Moonblast me again, and I'm actually thinking that I might survive this, in which case, if I can undertap, I just barely get to the Blast Burn. Really nice. So I get off this Blast Burn. They want to preserve Switch, they have to shield, and they don't shield. So Cresselia going down to 2 Blast Burns. You love to see it. And I'm in a kind of tough spot here because this Giratina is going to resist my Fire Fangs from Incineroar. Shadow Ball comes in, does a little bit less than half of Incineroar's health, and I'm going to just take the second Shadow Ball and then switch right into my Trevenant. Hopefully they're weak to Trevenant in the back. They allow me to get a lot of farm, and it's a Mewtwo in the back. So Mewtwo will go down to 1 Seed Bomb after all the Shadow Claw damage, and they can see the match. So fun seeing a Shadow Mewtwo in the back. I'm a huge Shadow Mewtwo believer, but unfortunately had a little bit too much farm there. And Shadow Mewtwo is just so squishy. It's one of the squishiest things you can see in the meta. So here we have, I switched into Greedent into the Abomasnow because obviously Swampert does not appreciate an Abomasnow. And they switch into Dragalge, but not before giving me a ton of farm. So I'm just going to spam off these Body Slams. And Greedent's so tanky that I should be able to get to 4 Body Slams here and either get a shield or preserve Switch. Instead, I actually switch into Skarmory. And this is a kind of interesting situation because I kind of need the Skarmory for Abomasnow, but Diggersby is Greedent is so tanky that I actually can do a lot of damage to Abomasnow with Greedent. We're going to have to see what they have in the back. They have a Steelix, so all is not lost here. I'm doing resisted damage with my air slashes and with my charge attacks, but they actually charge slower than I do, and they're doing resisted damage with their dragon tails. So I can double shield here, wait out the timer, switch to Swampert. Their timer's not up yet. I have to try and get down the Steelix before their timer's up. Otherwise, I'll lose the match. And so I am just going to get them into a range where I feel comfortable Hydro Cannoning them. The Hydro Cannon puts them into farm down range, and I'm just barely able to farm down. Luckily, they didn't go for the Earthquake there, or they weren't quite up to the Earthquake when they threw their move. So I'm able to get to this Earthquake. Don't quite get to the Hydro Cannon, but it doesn't matter because I have two Sky Attacks, and I'm able to take out their last two Pokemon. So I recognize there that double shielding my Skarmory was my win condition because if I can just double shield the Skarmory, I can save it for their back line, which will not like a Skarmory with 100 energy, and so that's how you can play the switch clock to your advantage. So here we have Gallade into Giratina Origin. I don't have Giratina altered, so all I can play with is Origin. I'm just going to take this move. I expect it to be a Leaf Blade. I survived the Leaf Blade. I come into Incineroar, and I think this is just another Leaf Blade because I've been counting. They're at double Leaf Blade. They Leaf Blade again, and then they come in with Swampert. So this is a kind of a tough spot because this Swampert is basically just going to be able to take me out. Barely took any damage. I'm going to have to take out the Swampert with Giratina. But this is Swampert's big weakness, is that it doesn't do very much fast move damage. So Giratina is going to get to 2 Shadow Balls before the Swampert gets to 2 Hydro Cannons, and 3 Hydro Cannons rather. And so I'm going to be able to just barely take them out. They were probably trying to farm me down, and that's going to be my win con because I'm going to take out this Gallade before it gets to its Leaf Blade, and I'm expecting whatever in the back to be weak to Swampert, to be weak to Stunfisk, and sure enough, it's an Aggron. So Aggron is one of the hardest counters to, or Stunfisk is one of the hardest counters to Aggron, and that's a GG. So Blossom into Alolan Ninetales. I'm not even going to wait to see if it's Ice Shard or if it's a Powder Snow or a Charm Alolan Ninetales. I go straight into my Charizard, and Charizard goes for the Blast Burn, lands the Blast Burn, and now a Dragon Claw will kill. So they actually shield up the Dragon Claw, and now I'm a shield up, which is really good. I'm thinking that my Blossom can actually survive a Drill Peck. So I take the Drill Peck straight to the face. It does about 35% of my health, and I'm going to take this second Drill Peck. I'm just going to farm all the way down because Blossom has a decent amount of bulk to it. They switch into Alolan Ninetales. So they try to snipe me with Alolan Ninetales. Luckily, I do come in with my Incineroar. Incineroar is going to get a lot of farm. I am just hoping that they don't have the fairy move, whatever it is, Dazzling Gleam, and sure enough, they don't. So I take 2 Weather Balls to the face, shield the third Weather Ball, and I've got a lot of charge for whatever's in the back. Hopefully, it's something that is weak to fire, and it is the best thing that we could possibly see, a Trevenant. So this is why you don't run ABA weak to fire teams, folks, because Incineroar just eats Trevenant for breakfast. All the moves are resisted. Flame Charge takes it out, no problem, and that's why I use Incineroar in the back. You've got Skuntank into Swampert. This is a horrible matchup, but you actually see that Galarian Stunfisk in the back is also weak to Swampert, so this is a very tough situation. I'm just going to go into my Mandibuzz, hoping that they don't have a counter for Mandibuzz. Sure enough, they don't. So this is one of the great things about running ABA Dark teams is that oftentimes people won't have a counter to both Skuntank and Mandibuzz. So I'm just going to keep throwing these Dark Pulses. I already got a shield from the first Dark Pulse, and I can take another Hydro Cannon. So at this point, I'm just looking for the swap. If they swap out here, I might be in trouble because they can just take out my Pokemon, get a lot of farm, but they're staying in, which is telling me that Mandibuzz is a problem for their team. So I'm continuing to farm up here, keeping my eye on the top right corner to make sure they don't swap. And they throw energy. I'm thinking here they're for sure going to swap, right? My hand is hovering over the switch button, but they don't swap. So I do just throw my move, take him out while I can, and then I go straight into Stunfisk because oftentimes if people are leading with a Swampert, their backline is usually weak to Stunfisk just because they have the Swampert to take out the Stunfisk. Sure enough, it's a Confusion Cresselia in the back. So Confusion Cresselia is definitely hard countered by Stunfisk, especially if they throw a Moonblast like that. And they're not switching out. So what could possibly be in the back that's weak to Stunfisk and so weak to Stunfisk that they're actually staying with the Cresselia? They do have Grass Knot, so this time they go for the correct move in Grass Knot, and they have a Giratina Giratina Altered in the back. So this is a good game. The ABA Dark team is one of my favorite teams just because Shadow Skuntank and Mandibuzz makes for such a good core. They don't really have any weaknesses between the two of them, even though they share a type. And if two Pokemon that share the same type don't share a weakness, you can kind of use them as a pincer to expose weaknesses in the opponent's team. And in the current Ultra League meta, there is a huge weakness to dark types in the front and the back. So that's a good game. And those are all my battles. So today I had a lot of fun using auto-recommended teams. I am also using teams that are recommended to me by my viewers. So once again, if you guys want to recommend me a team, go and check out my channel down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.